Hello everyone and welcome back. Now that I've made a bit of an introduction to energy, you know what it is and a little about how it works, I suppose I'd better give you all a chance to discover some of the fun for yourselves. To that end, this exercise is going to be a simple method to gather your energy at a specific point. But first, naturally, there is something you should keep in mind. This exercise is intended as nothing more than a tool for simple exploration. With a little practice, you'll be able to perform this exercise in the space of a couple breaths or even a thought after a while. But this is not a master make. Just because you can make a pretty little ball doesn't mean that you can go around healing others or toying with their energy in any way. First and foremost, you have to remember that this is not a game. You're focusing and using your personal energy, okay? Later I'll get into techniques that'll allow you to move on to other things, but for now we are sticking with the basics, so I'm hoping that you will do the same. This exercise is lovingly called powerballing, though I'm certain it started as an actual Tai Chi or Qigong exercise and probably has a much more colorful and significant name. Anyways, it's based on a simple set of basic postures, rather than being one of those, sit still and shut up meditations that I've been sticking with lately. First, get up, stand with your feet roughly at shoulder width, bend your knees a bit to make it comfortable, take the weight off your joints, and then take a minute to enter a relaxed state of focus. Once you feel calm, turn your heels out slightly, so that your feet are sitting parallel. A good way to figure it out would be when the index toe, the long one right beside the big toe, is about in line with your heel. That'll help keep your feet straight. This will help with your balance, and it'll also connect you more firmly with the earth, which is a useful tidbit for later. It's kind of like laying roots into the ground. Now then, once you're comfortable, let your hands rest at your sides and take 3 slow, full breaths, kind of like the ones that I demonstrated in my first video. A long, smooth breath in, and a long exhale out. Now with each breath, imagine light, or warmth, or heat, or anything similar to that, gathering in a place that's somewhere in between your navel and your solar plexus, between your belly button and that upside down V at the bottom of your rib cage. With each out breath, imagine that cloud of light kind of squishing a little smaller to make room for the next breath. Every time you breathe in, imagine more light flowing from over your body into that area, expanding it, and so on. On the 4th breath, lift your arms until they're stretched out to each side and turn your hands palm up at about, shoulder height. Take 3 more full breaths, once again with the same technique. Each in, bringing that light that you've gathered in your navel up to your shoulders. Imagine it just kind of sucking up there every time you breathe in. Again, just take your time with it. There's no need to rush. It's a very simple exercise. And then on the 4th breath, once again, your focus is going to change. This time, turn your hands palm down, but leave your arms where they are. Imagine the light and heat kind of running like water flowing out to your hands with every out breath this time. Now, the reason for the switch is that it's a more natural feeling to tie the motion of energy moving away from your core when the breath is heading out of the body. While naturally it makes more sense for your brain to pull energy to the core when your breath is going in. Anyways, do the 3 breaths again and fill your hands with the energy that you'd gathered at your shoulders. Now, by now you might already be feeling a few interesting sensations, such as the aforementioned heat, perhaps a sort of tingling, or even pressure from inside the places where you're focused, kind of like it feels like your skin's being inflated or something. Depends on the person. And of course, if you don't feel anything at all, that's not a big deal. The exercise isn't quite over yet anyways. Now by now your shoulders are probably starting to get tired as well, so I guess I better move on to the last bit. Using the same breath focus pattern, lower your arms to pretend that you're holding a ball between your hands, kind of like this, at about the level of your navel, once again. Now this imaginary ball should be big enough that your fingers can't quite touch together. And at the center of the ball, there's a little point of light. Now with each out breath, imagine that the light that you've gathered at your hands, leaving them into that central point, and feeding it, making it grow until it fills that little space. Now as it does, you can relax your arms. You can let your hands drift a little further apart. It'll probably feel natural anyways when you breathe out for them to move. Or, if you want, squish them together a bit and see what happens. To me it kind of feels, well, the same as when you push a couple of like-poled magnets together. There's a bit of resistance there. Or maybe stretch the ball apart slowly. Wiggle your fingers through the surface of the ball. Play with it. See what you can do. That's the whole point of this exercise, is to feel the energy and then see how you can move it and manipulate it and see how that affects your focus and the way it feels. Now, energy follows two things almost exclusively here: your movements and then your mental focus. And the idea of this exercise is, of course, to bring these together. Both of these are naturally guided by your thoughts and intent, so when you're using them combined, you can develop a very simple and swift way to move your energy around within yourself. And as you get more comfortable with this little ball of yours, try rolling it over one hand over the other. Run it up and down your arms, under your chest and back. Expand it, press it together, or stretch it and just kind of spread it around with your hands into a nice cloud. It's all about what you feel comes naturally to you. And now again, I'm going to repeat this little bit of a disclaimer here, though. Don't try using this energy to affect others. This is your vital energy, okay? This supports you, and it's a reflection of your health and well-being. Just throwing it around like crazy will just make you feel tired, weak, and can lead to a weakened immune system, depression, chronic fatigue, and a host of other problems. If you have a partner to practice with, hey, that's great! But for now, just guide each other by watching how your other person moves. Talk about what you feel, share your ideas, but don't start trying to zap each other. And now then, when you're ready to stop, just bring your hands together and imagine the energy sucking in through your palms, back up your arms, and then, spreading over your whole body back to where it came from. And then, of course, stretch your legs out, walk around a bit, grab a drink, blah, 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 blah. Just do a few simple, normal things until you feel regular again. Ta-ta, everyone. See you next time.